Morning, everyone. It's Sunday morning, so good morning and welcome to a Sunday sermon. This week we're honored with the spirit of Martin Luther. He is the one that started the Protestant Reformation, a true servant of God, and helped lead the people away from the Catholic Church of the time. So I know that Martin is ready, so let us begin. Good morning, everyone. Yes, when I lived, the Catholic Church had evolved into something that was not something that I approved of. They were more worried about raising money than they were about saving souls. They were creating situations such as having to pay for your family members to get to heaven, and it wasn't right. The indulgences were the straw that broke the camel's back. And I decided that there were things that were wrong, and I tried to make a stand. In those days, the Catholic Church was incredibly powerful. The Pope was like king of the world. It was the main and only religion, unless you got into the Middle East and the Islamic tribes and so forth. But the Pope was all powerful, and what he wanted, he usually got. Kings would not marry until they got the approval of the Pope, and generally there were monies involved before that type of approval would be given. In my mind, the church at that time had become pretty much of a business, and I thought it was time to make changes. Of course, they didn't agree with me. So, individuals that wanted to make changes had great problems that were given to them from the church. And today it's not that much different. You have many churches that have become businesses. They have incredible wealth and they don't use it as they should be to helping many other people. You do understand, of course, that each of you do not need an organized religion to go to heaven. All of you will go to heaven on your day of passing. I didn't understand that. I only basically understood church doctrine. And the sacraments of the church required that you went through them if you were going to go to heaven. And if you didn't, you were going to go to this place called hell. Well, it all comes down to how you live your life. There is no hell. I mean, we need to address that. But it is quite possible for you to be reduced in the realms of heaven. Many people have worked and lived lives, hundreds and thousands of lives, to obtain this position they are in heaven. The upper realms, as any of you that listen to any of the shows know, are the place where you want to be because it is such a miraculous place. But when you live a life, your home, your realm in heaven is in jeopardy. It all depends on how you live that life. Your guides have given you a life plan that you must follow or try to follow. You can pray to your guides, to God, to the angels, to any of us. We're all Holy Spirits, and we are capable when you direct prayers to us that we will hear it. Now, we don't hear all of the other prayers, but only the ones that are directed to us. And if you direct a prayer to me, I will do my best to help. I will go to God, I'll go to the angels, and we will try to arrange that if it is possible, that your prayer will be answered. Now, I'm sure all of you understand that if the prayer goes against your life plan, it can't be answered, but we will do our best. You see, that's what God asks of us, is to do our best. It applies to me in heaven, and it applies to any of you on earth. When you do your best, you will strive, you will learn, and you may fail. Failure is part of attempting to do things. Businesses fail, and sadly, lives fail. If you turn away from God and the words, the advice that He gives you, then it's quite possible that your lifetime is going to fail. He doesn't want that. Believe me, God wants everyone to succeed. Because when you succeed, you're helping others. You're doing what He wants you to do. You're building the foundation of faith. You're teaching the young. The young are the key to the future. You hear that all the time as well. And that is the truth. It is the young that must be taught. When parents show violence in front of their children, the children learn to show violence as well. When parents swear in front of their children, the children learn to swear. You see, they'll grow up and they'll draw away from the influence of the parents, and they'll turn to the influence of their peers. But if they're taught properly, then the odds are fairly good that they will choose peers that reflect the same teachings that they learned in their upbringing. So everything ties together. If you teach your child properly, your child will seek peers that reflect the teachings. Those proper teachings will help him live a good life, and they will help him ascend when he arrives in the realms of heaven. So it's really up to you, isn't it? It's how you teach your children. It's how you teach others. It's how you help others. Because you can have an effect far greater than you ever imagine. The simple act of holding a door for a senior person in a restaurant, they will be grateful for it. Often, and most times, they will say thank you. And that thank you is sincere because they know that you have gone out of your way to help, just in a small way, but you've helped. And every bit of helping others helps you at the time when you will return and be judged for how many times you helped others. It's all really very simple. I spent years studying the Gospels as they were presented by the church. There were things in those Gospels that I had trouble understanding and even believing. I felt very close to God. I thought that I knew Him, but my feelings were very different from what the church was telling me they should be. I felt an individual love of God. I felt that He loved me on an individual basis as well. And when I returned, I learned that indeed was the way things are with Him. He truly does love everyone. Very few humans can say that. If you want to be godlike, you have to learn to love others. And you have to learn to do it without question. You don't have to like everyone. There are many people that are impossible to like. I didn't like the Pope at the time. I didn't like the bishops when I was a human. And I tried to do something about it, and I was rebuked. I was excommunicated from the church because they thought they could affect me by doing this, but they couldn't. My personal understanding and relationship with God was stronger than anything that even the church could do upon me. The church even had the power to take your life. If they declared you as an evil demon, you were in trouble. You'd be killed. And many people that they took action against, they were incredibly good people. They weren't being affected by demons. You see, today you'll hear people say that even Barry is talking to a demon. I'm not a demon. I can assure you of that. I started a whole area of new religions, but yet there are people that will say that that Barry is now speaking to a demon. Could not be further from the truth. Those people are totally mistaken, but they're being misled by their churches, just the same as I was misled by my churches. I know many of you out there that will hear this don't want to hear that kind of speak. They think that because someone says that a book is 100% correct and there are no bad words in it or words that will mislead you, that you should accept that. You should challenge everything that they tell you that doesn't seem to be right. When they tell you that Adam and Eve created man, who created Adam and Eve? They will tell you things that their sons could have children that could bring the huge number of population to the earth. Didn't happen like that. You see, God did create humans. He created everything. He created your planet. Everything that you see every day is a blessing of God. Our planet, Earth, is incredibly beautiful. He created that because a human life can be very, very difficult. You will know pain. You will know suffering, grief, all of the emotions. But I want to remind you that Jesus came back so that he could endure all of the problems that humans endured. He had family past. He knew the grief of having loved ones go away from them. He knew joy. He knew happiness. And he especially knew how to help others. You see, what he did was incredibly simple when you think about it. Most people don't take time to think about the truth of the life of Jesus. They accept. What do you know about his travels? What do you know about his family? Well, you see, there are many things that you don't know that Jesus actually did and lived. Today, he's trying to bring you messages that will inform you of all those times. If you look over Barry's shoulder, you'll see a book called Jesus, the Missing Years. God directed him to write that book and then supplied all of the Holy Spirits he needed to get the information into book form so that you have the opportunity to learn. How many of you that listen out there really want to learn? There are many of you that do, and I applaud you for that. But many people just simply want to get along, want to follow what their religions tell them, want to show hatred towards people that they don't like, want to mistreat them, want to go to work and gossip about their fellow employees, tell the fellow employees that their superiors are actually inferior. So there's many things that people like to do that go against what God wants you to do. God doesn't want you to do these things because they only bring you unhappiness. If you gossip about a fellow employee, you can bet that the fellow employees are gossiping about you as well. And you're not going to know what they're saying. But I can tell you it's not going to be good, but it's been brought about by many of your actions. Why can't you just go forth and live a good life? Why can't you just smile at people, tell them that they look wonderful today? I like the color of your shirt. Your hair looks wonderful. Now, no one ever says that about Barry. I would point that out. So maybe I shouldn't have brought it up. But yes, you can say many things about people. You can make their day. There are individuals out there that people don't want to talk to. Many homeless. They're dirty. They don't have a chance to cleanse themselves. They can't afford housing because the governments have done things that have harmed them. They couldn't support a family. Maybe they've been in the military and they've gone to war and they've seen things that they cannot put out of their minds and those things affect them. PTSD is real and a terrible thing. In my day, men went to war, and when they came back, they were just declared insane. Today, they are attempted to help, but there's not enough of that help. Speak to them. See if maybe you can give them a little bit of guidance. Maybe tell them where there's a shelter. Maybe if they're a veteran, tell them how they can contact professional help for their problems. You see, there are many, many great people out there that are trying to help others. There are some wonderful, wonderful charities that we watch from this side. And then there are some terrible charities that all they want is your money and do little for others. You must discern what is right and what is wrong, who is lying, who is telling the truth. It is very difficult today in your modern society because all of the technologies are being applied to lie to you. So how do you truly know what's right and what is wrong? It's simple. Listen to God's words. I guess you all knew that was coming, didn't you? The messages that you hear from Barry and are in his books are so simple that you think they are not accurate. How could Jesus possibly say in 2 minutes everything that it took man, the entire new gospel, to attempt to say? Have you ever thought of it like that? You heard him last week. He did a summary. He did it in 2 minutes. He said everything that you really need to know to live a good life. All you have to do is follow his words. The simplicity of his words is the true beauty of what he did. The complexity of what his words became is a classic example of what humans can do. You see, you need to simplify things in your life. If somebody is mistreating you, remove yourself from being in his or her presence. If you're in a bad relationship, get out of it. The Catholic Church frowned upon divorce. They were not following God's words because it is possible that the mate that you choose is not the soulmate of your life plan. Many things can happen in a life plan that can divert you from where you should be. You got to follow your heart. You have to do what makes you happy. If you're not a happy person, then you will not show that happiness to others, and you will have a bad effect on them. Depression is a terrible, terrible illness. If you are in a bad relationship, you will probably be very depressed. And when you're depressed, it's very difficult to help others. Others will try to help you, but you may be in a mental state where you cannot even be helped. You need to follow his words, and all will be better. Build a foundation of faith that cannot be shaken. When you hear people tell you there is no God, just simply tell them that perhaps you should reconsider your position, because there will be a day that you die and you must choose between nothing and heaven. See how that affects them. Look at their face when you say it. I bet you they never thought about it like that. That you are making a choice, whether you want to have nothing but the grave and the worms that will come into the casket, or go to this incredibly wonderful place called heaven, where you will be treated as you have never been treated in life. It all becomes very simple when you think about it. It can be, or it can be as complicated as you make it. Be kind to others. Show love. Do not do anything that is not going to bring you happiness. But I'm talking about the happiness of knowing God. I'm not talking about the happiness of having multiple mansions or multiple yachts, because that is incredibly temporary, and that is false happiness. There's only one true happiness, and that is when you know God, have Him in your heart, and follow His words. When you help others, you will know happiness. When you hurt others, you will know sadness. It may not be immediate, but when you return to heaven and they tell you that you've done terrible things that will not allow you to remain in the realm that you want to be in, you will know sadness. So thank you so much for allowing me to return. It's been a while. I was very happy when Barry asked if I would give the message today. I thought that I'd be fairly calm about things and just simply tell you the way it is. I want you to be happy. I want you to know God. That is the only way you will be happy. So goodbye, and thank you so much for listening. I hope that you follow the words that you hear, and I hope that you tell others. Everyone needs a little help right now. And when you bring people to hear the words and messages that are delivered, you can truly help them. Goodbye, and thank you so much. Thank you, Martin. Great message. I really didn't know what you were going to say, but then I never know what they're going to say. And that's kind of the beauty of what I do. So thank you all for listening. Please tell others about what we do. Join us Wednesday mornings and you can hear Jesus give his message. They have been utterly unbelievable lately. They're all available on our YouTube channel. Go listen to a couple of them. It'll make your day. So thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back again next week with another message. Have a blessed week. Love God, and you will find happiness.